Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Smilf here, and today we're going to be talking about why you should be excited for the Chaos storyline. Let's go! So first of all, let's just talk about how this entire new storyline is separate from the Aether timeline. That means this is a fresh restart. There's no multiverses. Most likely going to be one single universe, which is great because the multiverse is extremely confusing, makes absolutely no sense unless you are a zombies knowledge god. But this time around it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit easier to follow, but with Jason Blundell and Craig Houston at the helm of the story, it's still going to be extremely detailed and super fun to follow. I'm super excited. We already have somewhat of a story going, so we're going to find Scarlett's father. The other three characters owe him some kind of debt. Shaw is a friend of Scarlett's father personally. Bruno knows him somehow, and then Diego does not know him. But all four characters at least owe Scarlett's father something. So that is, hopefully that's going to be resolved in like the first map or two, because if we're just going throughout the entire season trying to solve this one problem, it's going to turn into a fetch quest kind of game, just like Black Ops 3. But I have high hopes for it. I think we'll get it solved fairly quickly and move on to some other kind of problem. Next, I just want to talk about how much potential this story has. So every single map, you've already seen it, creative freedom is apparent. In the Aether universe, it has to be a map set in some kind of research facility or at a war location. Well, it does not matter in this new storyline because they're starting fresh, one universe, and we don't really know a whole lot about these characters yet, but they can literally go anywhere they want, and we've already seen that they are going to do that because we have a map based on a historical event in the Titanic, which is not a war zone, which is not a research facility, and we also have the 9 map in a Coliseum, which is not a war zone and it's not a research facility. So that really, it just screams to me, oh my gosh, it's time for Atlantis. Well, I guess we're already kind of getting our Egypt map, but we might still go to the pyramids, we might go to London. We can literally go anywhere now. It's super fantastic. So really excited about that. You should be too. Another thing I want to touch on that is so exciting about this new storyline is they're already going at mythologies. So they're already hitting Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, Norse mythology, and Irish mythology. That is incredible. Greek mythology, I know a lot of people are big fans of that from Percy Jackson books and stuff. Greek mythology is great. Egyptian mythology, I don't know a whole lot about it, but what I've read about it is incredible. I barely know anything about Norse, but I know God of War is based on that. I played a little bit of that. That is awesome. There's some really cool stuff in there. And Thor, he back, baby. Yeah, that's really cool because there's like Thor's hammer in 9. Well, okay. Let me talk about something. These 4 wonder weapons that were posted on the Call of Duty website, I believe that these are going to be our specialist weapons from the way they've described it. It's going to be like we choose one of those 4 before we load into the game, and then I would assume with each DLC it'll add at least one more, something like that. I hope so. But those weapons are really cool. And then I've also heard that as you play, those upgrade. So you know how in the Giant with the Annihilator, that thing is absolute garbage. Past like round 15, it's like you're shooting MR6 bullets at people. So yeah, these new specialist weapons are going to be a fantastic implementation into this game. It's going to make it a lot better. And hopefully, I don't believe it's character specific. I don't believe these weapons are character specific either, because we've seen in the trailer, we've seen Scarlett with the Blundergat and sword, and then in the pictures they posted on Call of Duty, it's somebody else with the weapon. So that's where I got my idea of you can switch them and it's not character based. If it was character based, that would be pretty stupid, because you just have to keep restarting your game until you get the right one. Another reason to be extremely excited about this new story is the perk machines. So basically how the perk machines are going to work in this game are like Zetsubou no Shima, where they spawn randomly and it's not the same every game. Well, you get to choose where your perks spawn. You get 4 perks. From my understanding, you choose 4 perks to go in each of your god statues. So you choose them before the game starts, and I don't think you can change them, but that's very cool. So you can literally put, I hope they switch up the systems a little bit. Don't just have a copy and paste jug, copy and paste speed, copy and paste double tap. I don't believe they will, because they're going to have less perks. They said 10 perks to choose from, and hopefully they add more as the DLCs go on. You can literally put your extra health Juggernog perk in the spawn room. So when we see Voyage of Despair in the Chaos trailer, we see that a statue of the goddess Danu, she's a perk machine where you can choose the perk. So you can put Jug there. You can have Jug on literally round 3, which is incredible. That changes up a lot of stuff. It's very cool, very exciting. And another thing to be excited about is we have not even seen the wonder weapons yet in these maps. And they've already showed so much. We haven't even scratched the surface of what we're going to see basically in these maps, because they never show a whole lot in the trailers. And one final thing that we really need to be excited about is just the bosses themselves. So far, the only disappointment I've seen is that the one boss, the tall dude that comes out of the man's chest, like rips out. He's kind of scaring me because he's in both maps. I don't want repeating bosses like World War II does with Brenners in every single map. That is very annoying. But I don't think they'll go past just having them in those 2 maps, I hope. And when they do have them in those maps, Zetsubou no Shima was one of the worst offenders of this. When you kill those bosses, you need to get a lot of points. So when you kill Margwa heads, you get 500 points per head, 1500 for each Margwa you kill, which is very balanced because they're somewhat difficult to kill, and it rewards you for killing them. Panzers, they give you, I believe, 1500 points, somewhere around there, enough. But Thrashers give you 0, and they spawn a lot. And I would assume these guys are going to spawn at close to the same rate as Thrashers, but hopefully they tone that down a little bit and make sure they give us points. That would be great. But other bosses, we've seen the axe swinging, the axe flinging, the hash slinging slasher dude. He looks very cool. He's like an upgraded Brutus basically. And then we have tigers for dog rounds, which is insane. So this game is going to be really good. If you're on the fence of whether you're just playing this game for the Primus maps and the Ultimus maps, and then you're just going to ignore the Chaos ones, put them to the side, think again. Because these Chaos maps are going to be even better than the Primus and Ultimus maps. Mark my words, because there's no limitation. Bosses are incredible so far. Wonder weapons, the specialist weapons look great. It's going to be a good time. So, hopefully you guys consider what I said. Maybe made you a little bit more excited about what's coming, and I hope you guys enjoyed.